Hello everyone, and welcome to Empires of the Undergrowth. I will be playing this game for a while, and when and if I decide to do another series, I will. So let's get started. We will be doing, um, we will be doing tug of war first. I am going to play on medium, and I am going to do an army ant only challenge. Um, we will see how this plays out. Okay, this strategy is going to be annoying. So this means I will have to amass the army ants. The longer I hold center, the more resources I am going to get. Oh, hey, look at this. We might actually get into the base. Nope, doesn't look like it. Alright. So, they are killing my units. I've lost a middle income bonus. But we are still charging at them. And it looks like we're about to take the middle again. Yep, here's the massive army to swarm. Okay, now I will begin saving up for the majors. So, we're actually going to get a bit of damage off the queen. Not much, but a bit. Okay, so, when and if I die massively here, I will manage to kill the entire group instantly. So, this is where army ants get really strong, is when they come in, well, an army, obviously. They've gotten through, and now they will be killing them. All the while, I will now begin to build a army ant major when we can actually afford it. Massive army on approach. Okay, we have our first major. this will be heavily important for the rest of the game. As the more army we get, the faster we will begin to kill everything. Oh, we've gotten through. Oh, here comes the big army ant major. Just look at how big it is. Anyway, back into here. Let's add another army ant. Now, as you can see, they are killing us right now. But the second that they kill us en masse, they will have screwed themselves over. So, while we ready to amass our massive army, they are also amassing an army. But the army ants, specifically the major, will gain a massive damage boost eventually. As you just saw, they killed everything. This is when the army charges in and kills everything. As you can see right here. And here comes the massive army. When this comes around, everything dies. Now I need to get another major, so I'm going to be saving up here. As you will need a few majors before it begins. Before the mass kill will begin. On top of that, you're going to need all of your forces to respawn with the major. Otherwise, it will not work. So we just need an additional 25 food, and then we can get a second one. And with that second one, and a massive amount of regular army ants, is when this will begin. And when it begins, everything will die within the sight of the majors and the regular small ones. So this charges in. This is where it dies. And this is where they make their mistake. Is everything comes out in a massive army right here. And when army ants come out in an army, they kill everything. So out they charge. And then they kill everything. Now, in case there's no music, I will add it later. So, they've begun to kill everything with their massive army. But this is also where the army has get their strength. Is when all of their forces come in, out and die. As they charge in. And then, eventually, everything dies to them. And they've gotten through. And this is where things begin to spiral out of control with them. is when the army ant majors and the army ants get in a group. And then everything dies. This massive army ant force will kill. And that eventually will actually get to this queen. As the name suggests, this is a constant tug of war. With this constant tug of war, we continuously consume every part of each other. So the army ant majors and the army ants come and attack, and then when they beat the ants back into the hole, that's when they can eventually come and damage the queen. Every time they push us back and we lose everything, we come back stronger. Especially when I add more and more army ant tiles. So they've just killed the majors, but also we're getting on top of their spitters. As you can see by now, this is a very much viable strategy. Now with the 19 and the 2, I will probably eventually activate Rage Mode when they all come out at once. So they've killed all our forces and have gained the center bonus. But what they didn't gain is a victory, as they just brought out an even stronger army ant force. As previously they were just trickling in, now it's a massive army. This is the specialty of tug of war, on top of not having to worry about having to go gather food, because instead you're just giving it straight up. But then everything on their side dies. Oh, never mind. The black ants arrived just in time. So, from the looks of it, it's time to add in another major. As soon as I can, at least. So, when everything here dies, we will probably have activated Rage Mode, unless everything here lives long enough for the majors to get in there. Nope, everything died as the majors breached. Now with a massive army force like this, the second they all group up, it's death upon anything. As you can see right here. Now with that many spitters, the army ant force dies instantly and meaninglessly. So, while they are strung together with that many spitters, it's hard to successfully kill everything. Now, if we're lucky here, they will activate rage mode and begin tearing through the army. But sadly, we aren't so lucky, but instead, they just kill everything and consume all of them. The entire army force is consumed. When and if my massive force dies, which it definitely will with how many spitters there are, it will finally be time for my massive swarm. So they are currently overwhelming our forces more than we are them. So these guys are all gonna charge in there and then die. But this is what we want, because then everything charges in all at once. And then everything dies. Because now we have 5 majors and several tiny army ants. And so what should happen is they get enraged. And then everything that comes out dies. Now, slow trickle for the enemy, it's horrible for them. Slow trickle for you is horrible for you. But when they all come out en masse, everything dies. Now, as you can see, we had a massive burst of small army ants, but then a small trickle of majors. So this is where the army ants fail and die, but that's also what we want still, as it means that we all come out in a massive force. So we crawl out of our hole. They think they've won. And then we charge out and kill them all. As seen here. As they didn't plan on army ant majors and army ant force swarm to come out. Now we are going to have to make another patch of the army ant medias. But until then, we can just watch our force charge across the map. Because as you can see, they just tore through the enemy. But then they got torn through by the enemy. So, I will add in the army ant small. This is the new army ant medias. we should finally get to see the tear-through ability of the majors. As from what I suspect. No, never mind. They did activate, but they weren't enough. Interesting. So we have enough army at medias. We don't have enough majors. Because the army ants are activating. But they don't tear through the army fast enough. Alright. And so then when they do get through the front line, they get shot down by the small shooties. Now, if you're wondering why I couldn't tell that they were on, it's because I couldn't see the flash. Anyway, so it looks like even with their whole reinforcements, we are tearing through. That's how you know you're on a victory condition, is when you begin tearing through them. Now, I'm still gonna add in more medias, because the more medias we have, the more meat shields for the majors. And we are going to need the majors, because the longer they live, the harder our forces to kill. And the faster they kill everything else. Now my voice is going dead right now because I am bored. Because really all I'm doing is just watching a constant push and pull of my forces and the enemies. I mean, sure, I'm breaking through their front line right now, but we've done this how many times now? And got flung back. But it looks like this time we're actually gonna break through their army entirely. Especially when their current only forces are spitters. When their forces are only spitters, they die. When it's black ants or wood ant shields, then we die. But otherwise, we live and we break them. So now we have 2 full patches of the army ant medias, which should hopefully shield the majors. When our army just completely dies, that is. As you can see right here, our massive army ant swarm dies, and then a massive one charges out. So, our army ants come out, they mass up, and then they kill. This is the victory condition right here. We have so many army ant medias that is overwhelming, and we have majors which kill everything instantly. And thus, we win. Basically, the swarm of the enemy is meaningless with how many army ants we have now. With how many army ants we have. Now, as you can see here, we just died. Mostly. Because their entire force died instantly. This is, bad. Because then they all spawn at once, and then they overwhelm us. But they weren't strong enough to kill the entire force fast enough. Now, they do have an even bigger swarm now because of the money gain. And so they have more spitters, of course. Now, we might actually lose, but when we do, a massive swarm will come out. And that massive swarm will kill everything. Here comes the massive swarm to to consume everything. If and when I get 19 majors, it will be overkill, and they will die. Currently, we don't have that many majors, and currently, we are dying. As you can see, we just lost because of this massive swarm. But, oh, what's this? A massive swarm is about to pop out. And out comes the swarm. With this new swarm, the first one charges in, distracts them, while the rest pile up. And when they've piled up, everything falls. Like that. So we now are charging through their numbers. When we charge through the numbers, they fall and they die. Oh, but there's so many spitters now that we might actually just lose. Nope. Our majors and a few medias, no, one media, just barely clutches it. Anyways. So it looks like we're actually going to have to get a full 19 of these. And maybe even an even bigger force of medias. We don't activate the mass attack fast enough. So we're going to connect up our massive force. So right here, massive army. This massive army will eventually fall because of the mass reinforcements of army ants. And with the mass reinforcements, we shoot through them all, and then they all die. None of the shooty boys survived. So we push through and we win. So we chewed through their entire front wall, and then we chewed through all their spitters. But their spitters also chewed through the majority of our majors, causing us to die right here. As a massive black ants reinforcement arrives. But this also enables the swarm to come out even stronger and wreck their faces. So we are actually managing to push them back. So the second I can make a new major, I will. There we go. Now, what I didn't see was that the massive exclamation mark was hiding all this. But this means that we have a massive, overwhelming force of spitters on our tails. But we are also a massive swarm that just freshly hatched. And so we chew through the entire armada. Now it turns out some of us went around. That was not a good idea, to be completely honest. Out comes another humongous wave of spitters, of course. But we managed to chew through the entire wave. And now we charge towards the nest. Out comes a whole battalion of black ants. But an entire black ant battalion doesn't really matter to the army ant swarm. combine these, and that will be our massive army ant media swarm. Now, we focus only on the majors. So they've consumed our entire army with their massive army of black ants and spitters. This is where we begin to spiral out and murder them all. Out we come to consume them all. So it turns out, they don't only have black ants, they also have a trapjaw. Trapjaws don't matter in this world. Trapjaws die instantly against army ants. Army ants consume and kill. This does not get cancelled out by their jump. Well, so now we just have to kill this massive spitter force, and when we do, we will have won. Of course I say that, and then we get completely wiped out. Out comes a small army ant, and then out comes a swarm. With the swarm, everything will die. If enough of the strongest parts of the swarm get here fast enough. Which they did, luckily enough. Okay, they've activated rage, so they chew through the entire opponent tree. So we've managed to kill them all, and we are pushing closer, ever closer to their nest. So, they've also sent out a massive battalion, but we are closer to their nest than they are to ours. So we managed to kill them all. As we kill them off, we begin to push even closer to their nest. Now then again, they've actually managed to kill the entire force. This is sad, but not bad, as they just doomed themselves to a death worse than death, as the army ant swarm charges. So, out they come, and out they consume. Every single one of them just died. Oh, look at this small battalion. They now die. All army ants gain the rage ability. The majors then begin to chew through everything. This is our victory condition. There's enough majors that they are able to charge and chew through everything. And then the entire army of the enemy dies. On top of that, reinforcements charge. All the while, we continue to chew through the entire army of the enemy. Reinforcements come for the reinforcements. The reinforcements are still holding the center. So they come out, and then they consume the entire armada. This is army ant victory condition. So it turns out we don't have enough. We need more. As I just found out, over the entire death of our armada to their new armada. So we come out, we charge, and then we consume, and then we kill. As you can see, we are now charging and chewing through the entire force faster than they can protect it. Now, of course, a massive army of them comes out. But we still have our enraged majors, and the massive force of majors is still alive. With a few small. And this, my friends, is enough to kill everything. We charge, we cull, we stall them for as long as we can. If we can last until reinforcements arrive, nope, we don't last long enough. So that means that we need more army. The massive army and supply is exactly what you want. As they ravenously consume our entire army, reinforcements are about to spawn. As reinforcements spawn, they mass, and then they kill. So, 2 tiny army ants charge out to distract as the rest mass. And then, the cull happens. They make it seem like they're small, or that the small force is going to die out. But then they consume as the rage activates. So, it's time to add more of these dudes. As you can see, not even their massive overwhelming force was enough to kill the army ant force. And so they charge closer to the nest. They are right next to the nest. While yes, they are massing up, they are clumping. This is not what you want to have happen on this mission. When they clump, they die. And then reinforcements come charging in. Victory condition. And then they charge in. There's no army left for this queen. And so the queen is killed. This was Empires of the Undergrowth, the first episode. Tell me what you would like to see in the future, and I will give what I can. As you will find in this episode, it took me 38 minutes to complete this. Goodbye.